Witter Shins. Normally,
Witter Shins.
I'll be playing you, some songs right now, but today's not a normal day. You're going to be hearing those songs so many times during the marathon that there's no point in playing you a bunch of music right now while I share the show. So right now I'm talking to you and sharing the show like I would normally be doing, like we're playing while we're playing the music, because our content provider or our network provider, whatever the hell you call it, Spreaker, is stupid that way. We can't make a link ahead of time. So today is the day of the birth of our very special departed friend, who we missed greatly. But luckily for us, we met him on Wittershins before we met him.
Yeah.
We met him to have him on the show, to interview him. God, this microphone's funky. God, and then I don't know, how many times I'm trying to share the show here. I should be paying attention to what I'm fucking doing. Then we had him on countless times. I didn't even know how many countless times until we decided to do this crazy thing for his birthday.
Yeah, we thought it was maybe 2 shows.
Yeah.
No, definitely not more than 3. And it was a lot.
It was a lot. It was. There's actually maybe 1 or 2 episodes that we just could not conceivably get into tonight's broadcast. It's just there's just too much. I cannot get the fucking. If you can share that link off of my page to Witches and Warlocks, I can't get to Witches and Warlocks from my phone right now. But
Witches and Warlocks?
Yeah.
Oh, Christian's page?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you want me to do?
Grab the link off of my Facebook page
for
this show and share it over there.
Okay.
Thank you. So, yeah, without too much ado, our dear friend passed away on Valentine's Day. And I miss him more than I've ever missed anyone. He's like one of my favorite people. And I'm pagan, and I do not believe in mourning the dead, so I'm going to try. But you won't know if we're over here crying and shit, because we'll just be in the background listening to it too. Because the thing with Moise, you probably know, I'm a talking motherfucker. And especially if I've had a few drinks in me, you can't shut me up unless Moise is talking. And this is probably the quietest I've ever been. I think it was similar when Christian Day comes on too. We don't talk as much, but that's because he won't shut up. But once you get Moise talking, and he won't shut up either. And just some of the stuff that he did on our show is just a wealth of actual magical information, in addition to really good discussions. And this mic is picking up so much wind, even though I got the windshield and everything. So I'm going to get out of here, and we are going to
Okay, I did it.
Start playing. Thank you. We're going to start playing the majority of the interviews we did with him. Now, if you're listening to the live broadcast, you're gonna have to be on your toes. Each of these segments will be 2 to 3 hours, somewhere in that neighborhood. And then we have to restart a next broadcast. We've got 3 hours of broadcast at a time, and then we have to start another broadcast. So if you're listening to the archives, you just scroll to the next broadcast. If you're listening live, well, you're going to have to, I'd probably refresh the page, give me a second to post it, and then the next broadcast will start. But we've got about 8 hours worth of fucking Hoodoo Sen Moise right here. I'm so glad did we do this show for that reason. It's and we have so many people that we've interviewed over the years, and if they depart, we have their words forever in our, I just figured out, huge archives going back fucking farther than I knew this show. Probably somewhere around there. Yeah. I think one of the first interviews was like 2017. And this might be the one. Well, hopefully there'll be something in it dates it. But just stay tuned with us tonight. And
I'm sure I'll sound like a complete idiot like I always do.
I don't think you ever did. But the marathon of Moise beginneth now.
Marathon of Moise.
From ASE certified expert technicians to new smart services that keep you connected, Pep Boys
That's
offers
how you
Commercials and
wanna start the
everything.
show?
Keep
I didn't
your ride
plan it
humming.
that way.
Open 7 days a week. Pep Boys.
That's
We
what
go
happens if
further
you download
to help
the show,
you go
apparently.
farther.
How you doing? You can hear me because I'm trying. You know, I will tell you, I am not a professional when it comes to Skype. So I'm like, quarter after, you got it. I'm gonna call you right back then at quarter after. Yeah. Okay, sir. All right. Bye-bye.
Father, can you hear me? How have I let you down? I curse the day that I was
Apparently his mic was open. That was fun.
and all the sorrow in this world. Let me take you to the hurting ground, where all good men are trampled down, just to settle a bet that could not be won, between a prideful father and his son. The little hand is on the two. The big hand is pointing at you. Now, what time is that? My clock glows in the dark. What does yours do? My kitchen counter is flat and has canisters on it. Does yours? Oh, I hope so. Don't you see these marbles in my hand? I want to go down to the store. I want to go where God knows best. I want to go to Sunday school. Jesus loves me, yes I know. I mean it. The little hand is on the two. The big hand is pointing at you. Now, what time is that? You tell me. Sometimes I like to wind up my clock so the hands will point in different special ways. Sometimes I like to wind up my clock so the hands will point in different special ways. Everybody knows that a good fucking Christian prays!
Wider shins. Now it's crucifix. Radio for your spiritual side. A twisted approach to the left-hand path on a Wednesday. We took Tuesday
Whiskey
off.
Wednesday.
Whiskey. Oh. Marta had the Whiskey Wednesday. You know, I with the Whiskey Wednesday, she gets a flight and a beer, and I got the beer.
You can't handle the Whiskey Wednesday.
I cannot. I concede. I absolutely cannot handle the Whiskey Wednesday. I can sip a good aged Irish whiskey, but I sip that shot all night long.
Didn't happen.
But I'd sip the one shot all night long, and it wouldn't do me a whole lot of good. But I like the taste of a good Irish whiskey. But yeah, so Whiskey Wednesday. So I got the beer, Marta got the whiskey, and I realized, damn, today's my kid's late day. we got home and it was like time for dinner, and he just left. So I thought I was going to be doing this show with Sasha sitting across from me and me telling him every couple minutes, take a bite. So didn't work out that. But today, yeah, at the dinner table, inside, less ghetto birds, less sirens on the winter shift. And we're on the laptop again. I haven't done it, so we got a whole we got different music than we have access to lately on the mobile broadcast system. But we have
When you need business mobility solutions that are more than just business as usual, you need Enterprise. A trusted partner, Enterprise has the expertise to help you go the extra mile. For the short term, for the long haul, and everywhere in between. So go with someone who thinks outside the box truck and get custom transportation solutions that maximize productivity, reliability, and savings. Go with Enterprise and start driving business.
There are all different sizes of businesses. Big business, small business, that awkward growing phase business, the running this thing from my garage business, and the OMG we can't hire fast enough business. Wherever you are in your business journey, HubSpot's powerful but easy-to-use CRM platform grows with you. It lets all of your teams work together seamlessly, whether that's just you and your roommate or colleagues across multiple time zones. Grow better with HubSpot by connecting your people, your customers, and your business. Learn more at HubSpot.com.
Special guest tonight, so we had to hook that up. Had to have the Skype on. I wasn't going to do it like we did with Christian Day, which worked, but barely worked. You heard that one. You were kind of around for that one. Yeah. It worked, but not the best audio quality. But tonight we have a special guest, so we got on the laptop so we could use the Skype for that. And you probably already know because I did not have the Skype mic muted when we tested the Skype line. So you guys all heard that.
Is he
right
on
over
the Skype?
Well, he's not right now, but remember when he called in to test it out?
Yeah.
The mic was open then.
Oh.
So everybody heard me, over the song talking to him.
Of course they did.
Yeah,
of course they did.
Of course they fucking do. Maybe I should play that. They owe us a living. But tonight. Oh, there it is already.
Is that him?
That's it right there. Let me answer the call because it comes through on my phone apparently at the same time. So you're still muted. You're still muted. Hold on. I'm getting ready to do your introduction, so they can't hear you. Okay, this time they can't hear you. So hold on just a minute. You guys can't hear who I'm talking to, but Hoodoo Sen Moise. And me and Marta have a debate going on how to pronounce your name. So they can't hear you yet. Tell us how to pronounce that last part. Is it Moise or Moise?
The last part, it's Moise. It's Creole.
Moise. We were both off. All right. Well, everybody I know pronounces your name incorrectly. So I was going off. I think I was going off of how Candelo pronounced it.
Rhymes with Louise, kind of.
Well, at any rate, let me unmute your mic because we're having a one-way conversation. But we've got Hoodoo Sen Moise on the line, who I've been trying to get for a while. He's all over doing stuff. He's got a shop in New Orleans. I believe it's a brick and mortar shop.
Yep.
Is it? Yes.
Correct. That is correct.
Got the Barnes and Noble's got his book.
That's Conjure New Orleans is the name of the store. Myself and Star Cassis own the store, the brick and mortar here in New Orleans.
Right, that's right. I knew this once. Yes.
Did Star move to New Orleans, or is she still in
No,
Texas?
she's still in Texas. So
Okay.
what happens is that we kind of we trade off. We go back and forth. Like 1 week I'm there and 1 week that she is there because both of us have travel engagements and shit like that we have to do.
Yeah.
So we trade off. You see.
So you don't get to be there together. That's too bad.
Well, sometimes we always don't have to drink together. We always got to go have a drink together. Yeah, because it is New Orleans after all.
Right.
Well, yeah. Well, and we're gonna have to do that because. Well, I don't know about Marta, but I've never been to New Orleans.
I've never been to New Orleans.
And we're coming. We're coming next, unless I piss Christian Day off in that amount of time. I'll try not to do that. But we're doing fucking Hex Fest next year, bro. And first time coming to New Orleans, I got to bring the whole family.
Right. Well, yeah, as long as they, either old enough to get into the bar or young enough to where they can stay in the hotel room by themselves.
We might have to find a sitter or something for some of that. But yeah, he's pretty bar savvy, our kid. Yeah. But just the bars that they let him in over here.
Our kid has a little friend who lives in New Orleans, so it might work out perfectly.
Oh, yeah. Even better. Yeah. Even better.
Arlo.
Arlo. Okay. Arlo. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So we're looking forward to that next year. But you're presenting at Hex Fest this year, correct?
Yep, I'm usually there every year. Mm-hmm.
August.
Yeah.
Yeah. August.
That'll be August. I think it's the 10th through the 12th. Yeah. So that's going to be a very good thing. There's a bunch of things that's going to be going on, for that. So, we have Hex Fest going, which of course I will be teaching at. And then also during that time, I'm also doing a book release party because I have a book that's coming out from Wiser, which the release date is not until September 1st, but they're going to I'm going to have copies. Bye, y'all. bye, y'all. Excuse me. Everybody know me here, so I gotta be polite.
Hey, we got
Yeah.
Charles Porterfield
So
in
anyway.
the chat room explaining the
Oh, you do?
pronunciation of your name.
Yes, indeed.
It's a French spelling of
indeed.
Moses, while
Right.
Moise is the Romanian spelling of Moses. Oh wait.
Yep,
okay,
exactly.
So wait.
Moise is
So
a Creole
Moise
word.
with the accents over it is the French spelling of Moses, while Moise without the French spelling is the Romanian spelling of Moses. Moise.
Indeed, Moise. That's Haitian Creole. Yeah. Uh huh.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I know nothing about Creole yet, and I always said, if I could go straight to New Orleans, I'll visit, but I don't want to see Louisiana. No offense, I'd get burned at the stake.
Well, there are some really really good places to visit that's outside of New Orleans. There really are. But you gotta look around a little bit.
Yeah.
There are some wonderful places when you get in the swamps. That's real good. Mm-hmm.
We're good at looking both ways over our shoulders, that kind of thing. Yeah, looking.
You
forward to that.
always gotta.
So you're presenting this year. What's your workshop or your class?
I'm gonna be teaching the class about how to bring down the spirits. That's what we're gonna be talking about this year. So, a lot of times everybody's always, focused on this is my intention to do this and do this and do this or whatever, or, I'm just going to add this root to this and that, but it's a lot of that than just, adding a root or focusing an intention, you see. And
Yeah.
how to get in touch with the spirit. We're going to talk about how to take the spirit and get in tune with that, and then to bring the spirit down, not only to help facilitate your work, but at the same point in time, how to bring the power that you need for yourself. You see?
Yeah, I like that.
So that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about that this year. And then one of the days, that the Saturday night, provided I can get the venue, I'm still working on that. I'm waiting to hear back. Is that we're going to do a book release party, because I have a book that's coming out with Wiser, which will be the official.
Kudos on the publisher choice. We were just talking about that, and people have been asking me to do a book forever. And Marta was like, well, what publisher would you want to be on? It's like, not Llewellyn, man, Wiser.
Right.
I respect books more that come out from Wiser, and there was probably more Wiser on my shelves when I had a brick and mortar too. Than,
right,
Llewellyn.
exactly. So that's gonna be coming out, and it's a book about conjure. And I'm the type of person, I'm not the bitch that gives you all this theory and philosophy and shit, because I don't that's all great and wonderful and all that stuff, whatever. But I'm more along the lines of let's get into the work, let's get our hands in the dirt, and let's do this, So in the book, there's going to be a whole lot of different kind of works and stuff like that. And of course, I go into explanations on this, all these different things, and why these things, these foundations that we have in conjure or hoodoo, same thing, synonymous terms. Like when I was a kid, they didn't call it either one of them. They just called it work. But, that's just me. But why those things are important and what they lend to the work themselves. It's it's about taking something and creating or facilitating magical change to a condition, you see. And that's what it's about. Because for me, I'm all about changing conditions. If there's something that's going on that you got, then guess what? Let's change it. If that's not what's for you, that's not what your spirits have for you, then, because we have an obligation and a responsibility just as much as our spirits to do the same, you see. We have the same obligation to facilitate that kind of a change whenever there is a condition that needs to be changed. It's a two-way street. It always has been and it always will be. But some folks, I think that there may be like a little bit of like either a lack of understanding or a need to kind of understand more so what happens when you have the two that come together. And by the two, I mean the realm of the physical and the realm of the spirit, when they come together to create not only a magical change, but they come together to change a condition that's going on in your life. And that's what this is all about, you see. So
Well,
that's what I'm doing.
Right away, I got to tell you, I want to go to any workshop that you're giving because I loved your presentation. Whatever you're talking about right now, the presentation was great.
Well, thank you.
I mean, it's radio, but I can feel you being animated on the other end. So what I didn't hear was the name of the book.
The name of the book is called Working Conjure.
Working Conjure. Okay, wait.
Working Conjure.
So I already see in Working Conjure on Barnes and Noble. And,
yes, it's on Barnes and Noble and Amazon. So you can I know that right now you can pre-order on Amazon if folks want to pre-order it. And like I said, the release date is officially September the 1st, although I will have copies in August before then to do kind of like an unofficial release party for that. But folks, if they want to order it, they can go onto Amazon.
Okay, so you've got a bunch of different formats for this book. You got Barnes & Noble, Google Play. So what's a Google? Is that an audio book? What is that? It's an ebook. An ebook. So yeah, if you should do an audio book, and you should have me narrate it. I'm just saying.
Oh, I should. And you know what? I absolutely would. That would be good. That would definitely be a good thing, because I know that they have it on. I know that I think they're supposed to have it on Kindle or something like that. But then, and of course, like it'll also be like in the Barnes and Noble stores, and it will be internationally released. So it'll be like not just in the U.S., but it'll be in other countries as well. So that's a really good thing. So, and I'm like, well, I guess, that's good. I'm proud of it, because I can tell you this. Look at Michael. Let me tell you,
Okay,
I hate writing with a passion. I hate writing with a passion.
Yeah.
And, and after, so much prodding, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess, okay, fine, I will. So, in a way, it was a little bit of a sacrifice for me too, because I'm like, I don't want to sit down, because I'm the type of person, like, I will talk to you and I'll tell you, this is how you need to do this. This is what you need to do. This is where you need to go, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But for me to sit down and like write all that stuff out, I'm like, oh Lord, it is just something, I'm like, and guess what? No. So, so when it gets down to it, like, I have to say, like, for myself, like that in and of itself was an accomplishment, because, like I said, I hate writing with a passion. I do. And like, I'm not going to lie to nobody. I mean, that's just the way that it is. I don't, but I did it. I did it. Oh yes. And then I wanted to, like, put my face through a wall several times, but I did it. So, so that's.
I don't know if you ever looked at like any of the stuff from the fairy tradition. There was a book in the fairy tradition. It was called 50 Years in the Fairy Tradition by Cora Anderson. She was like the oldest living member of the tradition at the time. And it's like she just talked, and a scribe wrote down everything she said. I was like, yeah, if I could just do that.
Oh, really?
I'd write a book, no problem. If I could just fucking talk. But it's like, yeah, I feel you. It's like typing it out, and I'm 10 thoughts ahead by the time I finish a sentence. I have not been good at that, but yeah, I feel you.
Oh wow. Well, that's kind of no, and I have to say that I have not, but yeah, like that's something I guess I probably should look into.
I actually thought it read well. It's just,
Good news. You started a company. Now you have to run it. When you look out into the sea of CRMs, it can look extremely blue. But HubSpot is here to give your company a more human approach. We're a CRM that's easy to use, aligns all your teams seamlessly, and delivers a better experience for your customers. So your business feels like a helpful partner and not just some company trying to force a sale. There's a better way to help grow your business by connecting your people, your customers, and your business. HubSpot. Grow better.
Congrats on going to college. Now the fun begins with setting up your dorm. Make it yours. Bed Bath & Beyond makes it easy. Sign up now for our college savings pass. Get 20% off your entire purchase every time you shop through September 30th. Only at Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah, this stream of thought, and it just all was in the book, and it was just like, this wise elders speaking. And it was like, I wouldn't expect a wise elder to be able to, be good in print. That she just
right.
Yeah, that was a good idea.
And I think it is, because I'll tell you this, like when it comes to this work, like, and that was another one of the struggles that, I guess like I had, because I come from the old school, and that is like, like it wasn't something that you had like this, you had people like, writing this or doing this, or, like it was something that like it was passed word to mouth, like that's how it was, that's how it's been done. And so, like for me personally, that was a bit of the struggle that I kind of had with it, because I'm like, well, like this isn't how it was done to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, it's like, I didn't go and like, get like, some volume of this, that, or the other, and then, take it and then try to, turn it into, or I should say regurgitate it into something that it isn't. Yeah. Just saying.
So I was going to ask, so your name, Hoodoo Sen Moise, did I say it right? Moise. I'll get it by the end of the show. And your tagline on your Skype is Hoodoo Sen Moise. So we're going to talk about that a bit. You see, you have several paths under your belt here.
Well, it's mainly like there's mainly three, but the three of them are all cousins. Like yes. They're all related. There's really not much of a difference. Like the word Ugan is the word that's used in Haitian voodoo as a high priest of Haitian voodoo. Okay, and so like the word Sen Moise actually is Creole for Saint Moses. And that was a name that I was given by my godmother, who made me in the voodoo. And the reason for that is because, thank you, my love. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. The reason for that is because the line of Moses, the line of that, like as far as my bloodline, is where I come from. So, because, I'm a Jew by blood.
Yeah. Well, Charles Porterfield explained all that to us in the chat room.
Oh,
he broke down your name clearly.
Yes, indeed. Yes. And so I come from that line, and that's like a nickname that was given to me. And so, like, when I go to Haiti, everybody knows, they know Sen Moise. That's what they know. And so they know me by that. That's what I go and be like, yeah. So, so that's kind of where that came from, was that. But yes, I'm an Ugan, or a high priest in Haitian voodoo, to which, I absolutely love and adore, because just like conjure, the voodoo is something else that, the foundation of, because the foundation of conjure is the ancestors, the end. If you don't have your ancestors, you don't have conjure, the end. Like you have a lot of these these people who go around and they try to like take this, and that's not how this works. You're either going to do what it is you're supposed to do, or you're not. But you're not going to sit there and try to take something out of it that is a foundation stone on which it stands. That's just the way that it is. And if anybody has something to say about it, they come talk to me. But the voodoo is the same. Like the voodoo is the same. It is founded on the ancestors. That is like we serve God, we serve the ancestors, we serve the Loa. The end. Like that's how this is, and it's one of the reasons why like you'll see like every year at least once or twice a year you will see my bitch ass in Haiti. I go to Haiti. You know why? Because I love Haiti, number one. I love the people of Haiti, number two. I love the voodoo, absolutely. But I love everything about that because all that is about community, supporting the community, getting everything together. And we serve our spirits together. And can't nobody take that away, ever. You know what I'm saying?
Preach it. And we knew all of this stuff because was it 2 weeks ago? Christian Day ended up on the show. We were doing the mobile broadcast. We were doing the mobile broadcast off my iPhone, and he wants to call in, and it's like, oh man, I'm not set up for calls, but fuck, if Christian Day is going to call in, I'm going to get him on the fucking air. And we did. It wasn't the best audio quality ever, but we did, and he brought you up. And he was talking about, it's like, all these people talk all this shit, but Hoodoo Sen Moise Moise, he goes to Haiti several times a year. Moise, he goes to Haiti several times a year. And it's like, I probably know one person in my whole world that I've ever known that went to Haiti at all. My friend? Yeah, Marta's friend. She went to Haiti pretty often. It's just like, it's not a place I often know people to go. And lately I know people going to Cuba and stuff because we can, but I don't know a whole lot of people that go to Haiti. So you go over there for like religious work, or are you doing other stuff over there? You studying, you're furthering your studies.
So there's a lot of things that happen whenever I go down there. Here's the thing. No matter, and I don't give a shit who anybody is, how long they've been doing anything. We are always, we are all perpetual students. The end. Okay? We're always learning things. So every time I go, of course, I learn something. I always learn something new because, I will tell you that I be cutting up down there a lot. I do. Yeah. So, but that's, neither here nor there. But like, so, like a lot of times when I go down, like I'll go down because we have ceremonies to do. We'll either be doing an initiation, a kanzo, which is an initiation into the voodoo, or we'll be doing like parties or ceremonies. Because in the voodoo, like the ceremony, like it's called a fete or a party for a spirit. We're giving a party, for these loa, and so like we'll be going down and we'll be doing that. And so, when it comes to it, like. Anytime that most of the time, there's a little bit of time that, it'll be like, how you say, a little bit of like relaxation, I guess, depending on on the time, that I go. But a lot of the times, like, I'm going down there to do work. That's what I'm going down there to do. And guess what? The work is not just singularly about having a ceremony for the spirit. It's not just about that. The work is about, such and such needs to go to the doctor because there's something going on with them. Such and such needs medical care and this and that. There's a house, that there's things that need to happen to, like repairs and such that need to, like we do all of that. And that's what people don't, seem to understand is that like when it comes to the voodoo is about the community, but it's not just about the community and serving the spirit, but it's about the community and serving the community because there is a need. That's what it was founded on. That's why anybody who says that they're a solitary voodooisant is full of shit. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a solitary voodoo. I'm sorry, bye. Nope, there's not. Doesn't exist. Yeah. Because there's no way in hell that one person, and I'll tell you, and if you can answer me this, then I will shut up and never say a damn word again. But if you could answer me this as to how one person can do an entire ceremony by themselves, then by ceremony by themselves, I mean somebody who is doing the prie, somebody who is the ungenicon singing all the songs, somebody who is on the drums playing all the drums, somebody who is doing the dances, somebody who allows themselves to be the shwal or the horse of the spirit so that spirit can possess them. You tell me how one person can do all of that, and I'll shut the hell up, and you will never hear one word out of me again. But you can't.
I tell you, I cannot tell you that. And I've never, I don't recall ever seeing an actual voodoo ceremony. But they're cousins. I've seen Paulo, and I've seen Ocha, and there's a lot of people. There's a lot of stuff to do. And
Exactly.
I always remember it's like when people would like bitch about the price of initiations or stuff. So I would say, do you see how many people were in that room?
They have no idea what's involved.
It's just like how many people you had to orchestrate for that ritual.
Exactly.
I can orchestrate myself.
You're absolutely right. And I'll tell you this. I will tell you this. For me to do a conzo, I have to hire 25 people for 9 days because the conzo, that initiation ceremony is 9 days long. I have to hire 25 people for 9 days because we do ceremonies 24/7.
Yeah.
There's 24 hours a day. Something is somewhere. Something is going on that have to be handled. And if you tell me how you can do that by yourself, then bravo, you better than me because I can't figure it out.
I have this imagery of like a Wiccan one man band kind of thing. Drums and rattles attached to their heads. It's like one of those one man bands.
Nope,
Yeah,
it
couldn't
don't
be done.
work. No, it don't work that way.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the thing is that like and here's Lord have mercy, God. I'm gonna get on Michael. I apologize in advance, but I'm gonna get on the soapbox. I'm just telling you now.
Soapbox.
Because
my ancestors invented the soapbox, the wobblies. Okay, go ahead.
Because let me tell you now, because there's been a lot of stuff going around. A lot of stuff going around recently when it comes to animal sacrifice. Oh yes, I said it. Oh Lord, I said the buzzwords. Jesus,
I just had a show on that. Yeah, I think that's when Christian called in. Yes.
Yes, there's been a lot of stuff, and let me tell you something. People, because I do apologize in advance. I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm trying to be rude, just so as you know.
No, we're okay with rude.
They look at a lot of fucking TV. They look at a lot of TV. They look at a lot of media bullshit, and they have this conclusion in your head that the only thing that the voodoos do, we do the blood sacrifice because of a bloodlust that we have, or because we have this thing for torturing us. That's not the case at all. It never has been and never will be. I'm gonna tell you this right the hell now. There are two reasons, just two, that we do animal sacrifice for. And you know what those two reasons are? Reason number one, because we're going to feed the spirit. Because the life is in the blood, and the blood belongs to the spirit. But guess the hell what? On the second side of that, you've got the body of the animal. The body, you know what that does? It feeds the community. Because one of the things that we do in the voodoo is we feed people. We make sure that they eat. We make sure that they are not going to be hungry. And that's what we do. And if anybody has an issue with that, then that is their own issue, and they can fuck off. The end. We do not torture animals. We don't do any of that, like the shit that they be talking about. No, we don't do any of that. But what we do is we're going to feed our spirits. We are going to feed them. And we are going to feed the people. And if somebody has a fucking problem with that, then that is their problem to have, not ours. The end.
All right, let's go to a break.
Let me just say this right real quick. And people might want to think about this right quick. The next time that they go to the grocery store and get their ground beef or their chicken breast, you get your motherfucking sacrifices gift wrapped for you. But we gonna do it all ourselves. How about that? Just so as you know.
All right. We'll be right back with our very, very special guest on Weird Shits.
listen. What more can you do? I believe in sabotage to make my dreams come true. But some people will say you should be put away for destroying their precious property. Well, they don't bat an eye while Mother Nature cries. She is much more precious to me. It's why I believe in sabotage. They will listen. What more can you do? I believe in sabotage. Just who are they trying to screw? I believe in my heart. We all do our part. Take a whack at the big killing machine. Its gears will stop turning, carcinogens stop burning. Yes, I have a dream. Oh, I believe in sabotage. They won't listen. What more can we do? I believe in sabotage to make my dreams come true.
No, some of these people.
On Winter Shins Radio, trying to play. I've been trying to play the songs that we don't have on our mobile broadcast. This is all the stuff that we haven't heard in a while. There's even some Bad Religion songs we haven't heard in a while. But there you go. There's Uncle Birch like 20 years ago. Just kidding with Sabotage. T.J. Vansel just jumped in the chat room. Hello, all you people in the chat room. It's been going off, and I haven't really paid any attention to the chat room, except when I noticed that Charles Porterfield was in there. But a lot of the usual casts of characters, even though it's not Tuesday night. We ended up not doing Tuesday night and did a random Wednesday night because we can. Because we can, and I keep telling you people that.
You have the big package.
Ah, you messed me up. Yes, our package. We had our large package.
Talking about your package. I didn't mess anybody up.
It's okay. Well, you knew I was going to talk about our package. No, it's our package.
Always.
It's my package and it's your package, honey.
I don't have to talk about it.
With our package here at Spreaker, we can go on the air whenever the fuck we want. Unlimited 3-hour broadcasts per day. We could do 24/7 and reboot every 3 hours if we want to. It had nothing to do with our lives. But we do. We have stuff to do with our lives. And that's what we were doing yesterday. It's why we weren't on the air. And why we're able to just randomly be on the air on Wednesday. So basically, people, where I'm going here is you need to follow. You're listening to the show. You're on the Spreaker webpage, apparently. Click follow. You know, they'll probably make you set up an account. You can set up an account with your Facebook information. 3 clicks away. It's easy, easy, easy. You got to follow. We got so many cool people making the migration over here to Spreaker. Candelo's doing his I think 4-day-a-week. It's 12 o'clock somewhere show again. Ambrosine Laguerre's been on the air. We got even Beverly Smith. I don't even know when her show is, but you just look for them when you're on Spreaker and follow their show, and you'll know when they're going to be on. Some people have a regularly scheduled broadcast day, and some people randomly go on the air, and some people do both, and we can do both. And Strix here, our loyal listener, I don't know if Strix I don't know if that's a man's name or a woman's name, but Strix our loyal listener, must have followed us because she knew, or they knew that we were on the air today, Wednesday, even though we weren't on the air Tuesday, as everybody suspected or expected. And maybe TJ's following us. I don't know. Maybe you picked it up on Facebook. I don't know. But the people that are following us get a notification when we go on the air. That's basically where I'm going with that. You get a notification. You can also get in the chat room. There's also, there's always cool stuff going on in the chat room. There's a whole other show going on in the chat room here at Widdershins. And that's basically all I have to say about that. So, back to our special guest. Are you still there? I heard you in the background the whole time, so I figured you were still there. So we got Conjure, we got Hoodoo, we got Voodoo, and I believe you're a Polero as well.
I am. Yep.
Well, I should have said Salam Aleikum then.
Malaikum salam, Musha. Yes, indeed.
All right. I think the last interaction we had was for the Gay Poleros show, and you couldn't make
correct.
it on for our schedule, but we had the show anyways. I don't think we had any. Do we have guests? We had a couple guests called in. Yeah, we did. Yeah, the Ngayo.
Oh, you had an Ngayo called, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But so so we had the show, and we had we had that show when we were on Candela's Corner, and that was my fault.
Somebody sabotaged that show.
Yeah. Well, yeah, okay. The sabotage wasn't my fault, but that show got sabotaged. It never actually aired live that anybody could hear it. They could only listen over the phone. If you called in Blog Talk Radio, you could listen over the phone. Then people got to listen to the rebroadcast. But it was a controversial subject. I think it was more controversial when we brought it up on Candelo's show. But I still thought it was a good show. And then later, we had our Tata going back and forth in text messages, replying to all the stuff on the show. It's like, dude, the show happened a week ago. You should have called in. I can't answer all those questions.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So then, since we were trying to get you on the show, that would stand to reason that perhaps you're a gay Polero.
That would be correct. I am.
And you have not had your heart has not exploded.
It has not. No, indeed.
Wow.
It has not. As a matter of fact, I am a Padre in Ganga in Mayombe, Cortolima. That is the Rama that I'm in, just in case anybody is wondering.
Huh. God, I'm sure that somebody told us, that's what happens. Oh, yeah. That was our first Mononso. It wasn't really a Mononso. We left there. But then our second Mononso, we didn't get that shit. And I think, you touched on one thing. You talked about sacrifice. We did, was it sacrifice and more dirty words? That was like a couple weeks ago. That's when Christian called him. And I said it at the time. I said, I'm a Tata. I don't put that on my Facebook page. I don't throw that out there. It's not my title. And, I've been a high priest in witchcraft forever. That's not my title on my Facebook page either. I don't need to do that. And one of the reasons I definitely don't do that in Palo is because of Poleros. The way they are. The way they are. And I was like, I don't need to be in some fucking pissing match or some peacock match with some fucking internet Polero.
Fight about the size of your package.
We could fight about the size of our package or the depth of our plumage. So I don't throw that out there because of the way so many Poleros are.
Right.
But
that is.
But as I think I alluded to when we were texting back and forth on Facebook, it's like my Tata's gay, her Tata's gay, Marta over here, and as such, there were certain oaths that never came up when we were being scratched, and when we got scratched the next times, like I never I never took an oath to look down on gay people or think they were a pariah. Well,
Right.
Tata and Yaya. Yeah,
Right.
It's a more elaborate scratch, I will say that much. But, that never came up. That was never, and
Imagine.
and one of the other things that when we were talking in text, you were talking about how your books are on Hoodoo and Conjure because of the secrets. You can't trade the secrets.
That is correct.
Those oaths never seem to come up either. I was never oathed not to write anything down, though I know that it's generally considered taboo in Palo. Those were not some of the oaths that I subscribed to. I didn't subscribe to gay men being bad and not allowed to be in Palo. I did not subscribe to not writing things down. And here's my whole problem with this entire thing: Palo, one of the few traditions I know, and God, in Ganga's bless him for trying to stay pure. There's nothing pure. There's nothing ever going to be pure, and there is no pure oral tradition of any occultism anywhere. It's never worked for anybody, anywhere. Hats off to Palo for trying to do that, but it doesn't work. Because here, I went through an initiation. I did not have the same oaths as somebody in another tradition. Maybe doesn't have a gay polaro. A lot of those things are stringent taboos, and everybody talks about them. It's like those words did not come up. Nobody told me not to write anything.
Congrats on going to college. Now the fun begins. Setting up your dorm, your apartment, your space. Make it yours. Bed Bath & Beyond makes it easy. Sign up now for our college savings pass. Get 20% off your entire purchase every time you shop through September 30th. 20% off everything. Hey, we've even got a checklist for that. You can order near home and pick it all up near campus. Sign up now at your nearest Bed Bath & Beyond or bedbathandbeyond.com and make college yours.
For over a decade, we've been perfecting the perfect length, fit, and feel of shorts. Our shorts make every weekday feel like the weekend. Chubbies, proper length men's shorts. Use code AUDIO15 for 15% off your first purchase.
Though I know that you're not really supposed to do that. I did end up with my Lucero has 9 eyes. And I looked at the other Luceros in the rooms. Nobody's looked like that. I was like, why does my Lucero have 9 eyes? And he says, well, because of your public nature, all eyes will be upon you. So I figured, all right, I'm not going to run right out and write a book on Palo. But I just, those were not my oaths. But then I have a friend on Facebook, Tata Oriate. I love his book. It's one of the there are only 2 other books or 2 books that anybody accepted on Palo for anybody to read. It was the Garden of Blood and Bone and the Palo Mayambe. What was it? She's rolling her eyes at me, so I got it wrong. Society of the Dead. Okay, Society of the Dead and Garden of Blood and Bone. And those are the only books that anybody accepts. Maybe because the way they're written. But then I've there's those couple people. Tata Oriate's book. I love that book. I found that book fascinating. I found it really fascinating that the herbs used in his Palo were the same correspondence as I would use for all of those herbs in Western witchcraft. I found that fascinating. But the spell work, that's what I find a lot of Palos lacking. They don't have a magic. They're using other magics. But Tata Oriate, he had several spells that were designed for Palo. I liked that. I thought there was good information in the book. I think he had another one coming out. But he's not dead. Nobody killed him.
No.
His heart didn't explode.
No, he lives in Florida.
and he lives in Florida.
Right.
But yeah, so basically it's like I that's what happens with oral traditions. And everybody's going to, kick and scream and bitch and whine about it. Oral traditions are like the game of telephone. Everybody whispers something in somebody's ear, and by the time it gets back to you, it's an entirely different story. It kind of took on a life of its own. Not necessarily a bad thing, but
right.
I see people in Palo holding on to a horse that left the gate a long time ago. Man, there's too many.
A very
variations.
long time ago.
Too many variations. There's too much personal input. There is no pure strain of anything left out.
No. And at the end of the day, this has been my argument from day one. Excuse me. At the end of the day, let me ask you a question. In the Palo, who is it that do we serve the Impungo or do we serve ourselves? Are we in relationship with the spirits, the Impungo of the Palo, or are we in a relationship with ourselves? And the answer to that question, of course, everybody will say, well, we're in relationship to the spirit. We're in relationship to the Impungo, blah, 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 blah. Okay. You're in relationship to them. So let me ask you this. If it is the Impungo who decide who gets scratched or not, who are you to say otherwise? The end. There is no argument. There is no this, that, or the other. Or we want to talk about the fucking goddamn treaties of fucking Cuba bullshit. Yes. Nope. There is none of that. Okay? Because guess what? Take your bitch ass right back to the Congo. Go right back to the Bantus and ask them the same question. I promise you, you won't have the same answer. Well, the spirit is the one who decides. Exactly. That's what they're going to tell you. Yeah. So who is it that makes a decision on that? If you truly are a servant of the Spirit, then you will listen to what the Spirit has to say. And this other, bullshit that really comes from these treaties that happened, years ago, blah, 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 dumb shit, has nothing to do with these spirits that we serve. And the spirits make it clear. Because if they didn't make it clear, then why is it that we can go in and sit down and we can have a consulta and the Impungo says, yes, scratch this person. Oh, but I'm gay. Well, we didn't know that before. You didn't have to know it. The spirit all fucking knew it. They already knew it. So guess what? Yeah. What are you doing? Yes. You either a servant of the spirit or you're not. And let me tell you, Michael, I have been in so much controversy over this. It's been a whole lot. But I don't really care. I don't care. I really don't. Because until you can effectively answer me that one question, then I got nothing to say to you. Because you can what if shit all day long. You can what if shit all day long. But what if this, but ain't what if nothing. Because I could come to you and I could not say one fucking word about, me being gay, this, that, or the other, blah, 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 blah. And you can do your goddamn consulta. And then whenever the Impungo says, yes, you're going to scratch him. And then afterward, I'm like, oh, but guess what? I'm gay. Why does that change anything? It doesn't. You know why? Because the spirit already fucking knows. And it's not about whether you're gay, straight, it does not matter about that. What matters about that is, are you going to serve those spirits? That is what matters. Because if you don't, then you don't. If you do, then guess what? The trivial, bullshit ass human, menial things that we get involved with have nothing to do with the spirit, but have everything just to do with the personality and that specific culture of man. That's it.
Yeah, people bring their bigotry.
Right. Yes, of course they do. They're going to bring it in. Oh, well, I didn't know. Well, you didn't have to know. Your spirit knew. And your spirit still said yes. So what now, bitch? What now? A big old bunch of nothing.
When I was a kid and I got involved in witchcraft, I was first introduced this concept of the Godhead, the God that is the God, Goddess, everything that exists, and it was a perfected being, and we were a lower version of that perfected being, and our job was to eventually reach the state of that perfected being. And if you could find an imperfection with that perfected being, then it was imperfect. A human being shouldn't be able to find an imperfection in an actual God. It should be better than us, bigger than us.
Correct.
And so any deity or spirit or anything that's ever come down the pike and told me that it was, larger than me, and it engaged in things like, bigotry, jealousy, all the way back to Jehovah in the Bible. He was a jealous God. It's like, well, jealousy, man, that's beneath me. I can't look up to that. I can't worship that. Bigotry? No, we know just, prior to Trump, we all knew that wasn't okay. We decided that as human beings, that certain behaviors were just unacceptable. How am I going to look up to a deity engaging in that behavior? And I've never had to, because it's always humans. It's always humans throwing that in. So like you said the word treaties. The treaties were is where the bigotry came in, but then the other things that I subscribed to were pacts. Pacts are with spirits. Treaties are with people, and so of course I expect the treaties to get fucked up, but the pacts were just fine. None of that shit came up.
Of course, but then think about it then, because back in the day, and guess what? Back in the day. Ask anybody, and they will tell you the same fucking thing. Back in the day, how many women were allowed to be in polo and allowed allowed to be scratched? How many women were allowed? Because guess what? Originally, polo was for men, just men. Yeah. Women had their own thing. They had their own thing. You see, and then guess what? That changed, and so guess what? That changed, and why is it that there seems to be, this big bullshit ass thing, to where, if you're gay you can't be in power. Sit the fuck down. I will challenge anybody, and I say this, and I hope every motherfucking person hears it. I say this. I will challenge anybody. You come at me with everything that you have, and I will come at you with my siete rayo, my insasi. I will come at you with that, and let's see who stands in the end. Because many have fucking tried, but ain't not one motherfucker have succeeded. Okay? Name one.
Hey, do you have a podcast?
I do not. I probably should, but I don't.
YouTube channel, something? You should have something, because I want to subscribe. I listen to you all day. I'm just saying.
No, yeah, that's kind of that's in the works. I got to get that, but but it's the truth, It really is. Like, I don't want to hear none of this cockamamie bullshit about this, that, yeah. No, You show me. If you can show me how I am not serving the spirit correctly because I'm fucking gay, I will sit down and I will put duct tape over my own fucking lips, and you ain't got to say shit. Show me that. And that's exactly what I'll do. But until then, guess what? My mouth's going to be moving 100 miles a damn hour. How about that?
Well, I just remember, our Tata tells the story. He went to Cuba, and he went to a very reputable Mononso and got his initiation there. And, before, as everything was about to happen, in Kisiar, he said everything was okay. He says to the Tata, he goes, well, hold on, wait. I need you to know, I'm gay. And the guy just looked at him for the longest time, and then finally goes, and? Goes,
exactly.
Well, we're told it's it's a taboo, and the gay men can't be scratched. And he goes, and he just said,
bullshit.
Where? And he goes, well, back in America we hear that. And he goes, so you have a penis? He goes, yes. He said, you have balls? And he goes, yes. They work? Yes, then you're a man,
Right.
and that's all that mattered to this guy. It's like it was the
Exactly.
most alien thing that this Tata in Cuba had heard. He was like, "So you're gay? So what? And
Who
it's
gives a
that's
shit?
Back in Cuba,
Exactly. Right, and you're right, and that's exactly like what I've been saying. Like, you know what? Guess what? You go through a consulta. In that consulta, you are sitting directly with that impungo. You are sitting directly with that spirit. And that spirit says right then and there, yes, you can, or no, you cannot.
Yep.
And guess what? If that spirit says yes, you can, who am I to say no? Who am I to say that? I can't. Because you know why? At the end of the fucking day, I'm a servant of that spirit. And if that is what he wants, then that is what he gets. The end. So anybody who's like, oh, this, that, the other, and blah, 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 and all that stupid, like, monkey shit bull crap, don't have no time for all that. Because guess what? If you are a servant of the spirit, then you will do what it is that the spirit commands. Because at the end of the day, it is you that is the vessel of the spirit, not the other way around.
Whew. Preach it. I'm just listening
Just so
to you
you
talk
know.
right now.
I'm just saying, because guess what? Nobody has time for all that. So,
Nobody
you know,
has time for
like
that.
people have all this, they have all these ideas about this, that, and the other, and about like how they're going to do this, and they're going to do that, or they're not going to do this, and this is the thing that you're supposed to do, and blah, 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 blah. Fine. Absolutely. You've got the ground rules set in place. But guess what? When the spirit comes in and says, that one is mine, who are you to challenge otherwise? Because it is you that is a servant to that spirit, not the other way around. It is you who serves that spirit, not the other way around. So now you want to challenge it because of some machismo, stupid bullshit that you heard from somebody else? Oh, no, sorry. Mm-mm.
That's what I have always said. It's like, Nkisi said it was okay for you to come, right? But, and that's all there is.
The end.
That's it.
Exactly. The end. That's it. That's all that matters. They say yes or they say no. The end. Anytime anyone comes to me because they want to consult, I said, okay, give me 2 days and I'm going to get back with you. And I will go to my Insasi and I will sit with him and I will say, hey, Papa, I got such and such who wants to come have a consult with you. Is it okay? And I will do the divination my goddamn self. And he either says yes or he says no. If he says yes, come on. If he says no, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Go somewhere else. The end. That's what it is. It's quite simple.
Let me, I'm seeing questions in the chat room I should answer. Strix, one of our loyal listeners, asks the meaning of Tata and Yaya. Basically, Tata's priest, Yaya's priestess, for lack of better words, in
it's like
Palo.
a father and a mother.
Yeah, father and mother in Palo. And then
Yes.
she asks, what is Lucero? Complicated. Lucero, Lucero's the first impungo. You have to. I don't know what other things you study, Strix, but it's kind of like a Elegua in other ATRs. It's like the gateway. You have to have Lucero to talk to everybody else and to open the roads to all the other impungos. Just like Elegua does that same thing in other traditions. There's a mediator, yes, in a way. A mediator with, you may call them gods, other people are going to call them, spirits and pungos. It's different ways that people view those things, but Lucero is like the main guy. You gotta talk to him first.
Crossroads,
and have
exactly.
him talk to everybody else. So yes. Correct me if I'm wrong.
And it's like in my Rama, in Mayombe Cortelima, Lucero Mundo, Lucero himself is the guardian of the crossroads of the entire cosmos. Okay, so we kind of have two. We have in my Rama, we have two. We have Lucero Mundo, who is he's like the guardian of the crossroads of the entire cosmos. And we also have what's called Inkuyo. Inkuyo is the guardian of the crossroads of the material plane. Kind of like Lucero, but not on the same scale. But it is them who you go to. You go to Lucero Mundo or you go to Inkuyo to open the doors for whatever it is that needs to be done. You see, and that's where sometimes you got to go get a chicken, baby. You need to go get a black rooster and go give it to him and say, hey, guess what? I need such and such to be open. Yes, I said that chicken. Yes, I did. Sure did. And sometimes you gotta you gotta spill some blood if you're gonna get what need to be done.
Hey, let's go to a musical break.
That's just the way that it is.
All right. I want you back after this musical break. Hold on.
Well, you've tried it just for once, found it alright for kicks. But now you find out that it's a habit that sticks, and you're an orgasm addict. You're an orgasm addict. Sneaking in the back door with dirty magazines. So your mother wants to know what all the stains on the jeans. And you're an orgasm addict. You're an orgasm addict. You're getting assault, but you still keep a beating. You meet to pulp, and you're an orgasm addict. You're an orgasm addict. You're a Casanova, you're an Ocho Zephyr. Live on a fucking yourself to death. Orgasm addict. You're an orgasm addict. You're making out with school kids, winos and heads of state. You've even made it with a lady who puts the little plastic bombings on the Christmas cakes. Butchers, assistants and bellhops, you've had them all here and there. Children of God and the joy strings, international women with nobody hair. Ooh, so well you're asking in an alley and your voice ain't steady. The sex mechanics are off, you're more than ready. You're an orgasm addict. You're an orgasm addict. Johnny won't fuck you always and always. He's got the energy, he will amaze. He's an orgasm addict. He's an orgasm addict. He's always at it. He's always at it.
ceremony.
Yes, indeed.
Glitter Shins. One of those songs that we're not able to play when we're on the mobile broadcast. So, on the line with me, Hoodoo Sen Moise. Did I say it right? No, I still didn't get it right. Okay.
Moise.
Moise. By the end of the show, man, I'm going to have it. And then when I see you in person, I'll never forget it.
That's right. When y'all bring y'all ass down to New Orleans, come on.
Well, apparently, next Tex Fest, I got to figure out what I'm going to do. But I'm sure it'll fucking rock the goddamn world. But yeah, I've been asked to do the next Tex Fest, so that's going to be our trip to New Orleans. First time seeing it, so I'm gonna definitely hook up. And I just heard you. The listeners couldn't hear you, but I hear you when you're talking in the background when the mic's off on Skype, and you're going to be at the Mile High Conjure Gala. I just overheard.
I am. I will be teaching September in Denver. Yes, I will be. Yep. Mm-hmm. I'll be up there in Denver cutting the hell up. Yep. That's what's going to go down.
All right.
Yep.
Well, hoping to have one of those in Hollywood one of these days. We'll see what we can pull off.
Oh, yes, indeed. Absolutely.
Maybe we'll.
I'm there. You let me know. I'm there.
I can more see myself going to New Orleans than Denver right now, even though Denver is closer.
Right?
Yeah. So what are you going to be teaching there then? You already set
I'm going to be over at the Mile High Conjure Gala in Denver, which is at September 29th and 30th. I'm going to be I'll be teaching a class about the ancestors and about how to facilitate strong relationships with those that have come before you. Because as we know, it is the ancestors that are the foundation on everything else that we stand on. You either have your ancestors or you don't. If you don't have them, I feel sorry for you. If you do have them, let's go. We can, that's the way that it is. Because guess what? It is the ancestors that open up not only opportunities, but doorways into everything else that you're going to. And it doesn't matter what path you follow. It doesn't matter any of that shit. That doesn't matter. What matters is that you have that active relationship with your folks, because it is them that give you the wisdom that you need to not only move forward, but it is them that also give you the wisdom that you need to be able to know what your next step is going to be, you see. And so we're going to be going all out on that. So I'm going to be doing a class on the ancestors, and then I'll be doing readings and all that other kind of shit over there.
Okay. And what's the date on that?
September 29th and the 30th in Denver. Mm-hmm.
And the same person that's asking that in the chat room is asking about Hexfest, which is much sooner. When's Hexfest?
That is, if I remember correctly, if I recall correctly, that's August 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Yeah, I believe that's what it is. And that's in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tell her more
That's
about that.
Right,
we
here
got somebody asking about what's Hexfest. She's never heard of Hexfest in the chat room here.
Hexfest is basically, it is a weekend. It's an entire weekend that is devoted to how you say, to classes and to magic that maybe you either haven't thought about or understood before. It's about essentially increasing somebody's their spiritual side to where whatever it is work that they're doing, because there's a whole bunch of different types of people that come to Hexfest, you see. Mm-hmm. And so, it's about taking somebody and helping to facilitate them moving to the next level of their own practice. It's about helping to, bring them to a new place of understanding so they, whenever they go back home, they got something that they didn't have before. It's about creating change in people that, they're going to come one way, but they're going to leave. And if you come to my class, I promise you, that's what's going to happen. You're going to come one way, but you're going to leave another. I guarantee you that. You see.
So there you go, Strix, in the chat room. You going to go? I think you should go.
They need.
BetMGM is pitching baseball fans a chance to swing for the fences. Register using code EASY200 and win $200 in free bets when you place a $10 moneyline wager on any Major League Baseball game and either team hits a home run, regardless of your bet's outcome. Enjoy baseball like never before with BetMGM's daily promotions at your fingertips all season long. Sign up today with the King of Sportsbooks. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Louisiana only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700 in partnership with Sam's Town Shreveport Casino.
Shop the Memorial Day event at Gap Factory and GapFactory.com. Everything's 50 to 70% off. Plus, get new doorbusters from just $10. Get it all through this weekend only at Gap Factory and GapFactory.com.
To go exactly. Come on,
you got it.
And I'm gonna show you exactly. I'll show you what you've been missing. How about that? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you what you've been missing. And so, when it comes down to it, the things that we do, like I said, I've been in this for 35 years. I've been in this a long time. Yeah, me too. And so, and as you know, Michael, there are people who come into this and they have these ideas of this, that, and the other. But those ideas that they have, which are good and maybe pure in nature, are still missing elements to that. What we do is we provide the elements that are missing, you see. That's what we do. They say, oh, you're doing this, and this? Okay, well, let me show you how to do it. How to do it, in a way that you maybe not know. And then you do it, and then all these changes be coming along, yeah. And those changes that come along, you know what happens? They change you. And you know why they change you? Because your spirits are trying to change you. And as your spirits is trying to change you, what ends up happening is that, you begin to undergo transformation. And that transformation that happens with you is something that you end up carrying to somebody else. If you come to one of my classes and you are not transformed, I'll give you your money back. Here you go. Here you go. I promise you that. I'll tell you that right the hell now. Because I don't do this because I'm looking for anything. I don't give a shit. Because guess what? I make a lot of money by myself. Don't care. I don't care about that. But what I do care about is giving somebody the ability to grow and allowing them to set their seed on fertile soil. That's what I care about. I don't care about anything else other than that. Because if I cannot do that, then I have not done my job. Yeah. Just saying.
I hear you. Noble goals right there.
I believe in being honorable. Because let me tell you, Lord, here we go. Yes, again. Michael, I apologize in advance, but I'm about to get on soapbox again. Just so you know. That's what this is about. It's about being honorable, you see. And because there are so many in this, and I use this fucking term very loosely. I do. I use it loosely because, I look at it and I'm like, what the hell is even this? In this, quote, community. Because that's another big problem that we have is I don't see this as a community. It's not. It's always one person going against this person and going against this person and this, that, and the other and all this other blah, 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 blah. I don't have time for that. Yep. If that's all I'm focused on, if that is all I'm focused on, then I am remiss in doing my own job, my own calling. And if I cannot establish and perform the goals to which I was called to, then what the hell am I doing here? But that's the thing, you see. That's what you have a lot of. You have a lot, because there's a lot of this, that, and the other backbiting and blah, 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 blah. Personally, I don't give two rat shits about what anybody does. I don't care. You know why I don't? Because at the end of the day, every man and every woman have to work out their own salvation. The end. That's what they have to do. But merci un peu, mon chéri. Somebody brought me a drink. I'm sorry. So, well, this is New Orleans. You know, this is how we work.
Are you at a restaurant this whole time?
No, actually, I am sitting at the 1200 block of Royal Street on a stump. That's what I'm doing. I'm on a stump
Somebody's
out.
bringing you drinks on a stump? I gotta visit this town.
Everybody here. I know everybody here. That's how this works, you know? Just
Bringing
saying.
drinks on a stump. Oh, my wife really wants to go now.
I'm just saying, like, that's how this works here, you know? And that's what we do. But the thing is that, like, you know, going back to that is that, like, if I cannot help somebody and I cannot give them not only revelation, but the ability to manifest change in their life, then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing as a priest. Because as a priest, that is my fucking job. And that's what it is.
Yes.
And people don't understand how seriously I take that. And I do take it. And I take that extremely seriously. It is not something that I don't waver in. I don't like, I'm not doing, no. If this is what needs to happen, guess the hell what? This is what's about to go down. And so, you know, you have a lot of people here that like to talk a big game, and they have a lot of eloquent words that come out of their face. But at the end of the day, they don't know shit about nothing. And all they're doing is pulling something out their ass to tell somebody, oh, you should probably do this. Because, Lord, don't even get me started. I can start going down in names, you know, of dumb shit, you know, that we don't do. And that what ends up happening is that people end up getting hurt. And I will never allow something like that to happen, because I would be remiss in my duties as a priest if I did. And I won't do that. No, indeed.
Yeah. Hey, we just got a Salam Aleikum from Candelo in the chat room.
Oh, Malaikum Salam. Yes, indeed. That's my dog right there. That's my dog. My ride or die.
We got a whole different crowd in there on a Wednesday. We're normally on Tuesday. And, you know, usually a handful of live listeners. We usually get most of our listeners in the archives. But it's kind of jumping on Wednesday. I'm not saying I'm going to commit to doing Wednesdays, but I'm just saying.
Well, shit, maybe you should do Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm just saying.
Big enough package.
Marta says I have a big enough package. So maybe.
And then that happened right there. You know what, Lord? I'm not going to kick that door open. I'm not Jesus. I'm not going to do that. But guess what? Yeah, well, I'm just saying, you know, maybe you should. Maybe you should consider it. But the thing is that, like, Michael, like, the stuff that you talk about and the stuff that you're wanting to talk about, like, these are really, really important. Like, they are important issues. Because I'm sorry. I really am. I'm sorry to say this, but as far as, like, you know, and I'm using, like, air quotes, my fingers is all up in the air right now doing this. But when it comes to, like, you know, pagan community or occult community, but there is no such thing. It doesn't exist, because the only thing that you have is that you have motherfuckers that are backbiting each other so horribly. That's all that they know, and they're destroying people in the process.
Yes.
Because I'll tell you this. Like, I could, if I wanted to, Jesus knows, I could, if I wanted to, I could come out and I could say a whole bunch of shit. That is true. I could say a whole bunch of shit about, you know, about certain folks and stuff like that. You know, but what is that going to solve? What is that going to do? Nothing but create an, extra division. It's not going to do all that. And I don't need to do, you know why I don't need to do that, Michael? Because I'm fucking me. That's why. I don't need to do none of that. Because at the end of the day, people will still come to me whether, you know, the sun is shining or the rain is pouring. It does not matter. So all I'm going to focus on is what needs to happen to facilitate change in somebody's life. And that's why, like, and maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but I do not, like, personally subscribe or believe in, the how you say, the mirage of the quote pagan or occult community. I don't, because all you have is a whole bunch of bullshit going on, and it's like, why? Why do I why do I need to put such and such down, even though I could? Why do I need to do that when I can just shine even more? Because at the end of the day, guess what? You know who it is that writes the narrative for all this? Me and you. That's who writes the narrative. And so if I want people to understand something in a different way, then I'm going to speak in a different way. And I'm going to understand things in a different way than they do, and I'm going to convey those messages in a different way. I don't have to put nobody down. You know why? Because people can just look at me and they can say, you know what? There's something right there. That's what's going on. And guess what? Every single time, that's exactly what goes on. I mean, I could tell you about the fakes and phonies and bullshit artists and stuff like that I've experienced firsthand. Shit.
Well, let me ask you a personal question here, because I just wonder. You ever been a Baptist?
Huh?
You ever been a Baptist?
Hell no, I ain't no damn Baptist.
I could just picture you ranting up and down the stage in a church when I listen to you speak. You've got such a nice flow to your rants. Sorry to disrupt your rant, but I just had to ask that question.
You are absolutely. I'll tell you this. Just ask Christian about how I am, especially in my classes. Just ask him. There's a reason why he loves to keep me around. There's a reason why. Because guess what? I can walk into a room and I can change the tone of a room in 10 seconds flat. That's why.
I bet you can. I believe it.
And I'll tell you that now, and it's the truth.
This is the first time I've ever heard your voice. Really?
I know. What? Like, yeah. Well, you're right.
And
but
Charles Porterfield says it's a Southern thing. Oh yeah, so they all do that? Really? I don't know, man. I've seen some Southern Trump supporters that are not that silver-tongued. Let me say.
Shit on me. No, indeed. And I love Porterfield. Yes, indeed.
Wow, what's the love with Porterfield?
Charles and Christy need to bring their ass back to New Orleans. I'm just saying. You heard me, Charles? I'm just saying. But yeah, so. But like with this stuff, like I said, like the way that I see it is that, my job is to facilitate a magical change in somebody that needs a miracle, somebody that needs something to happen. And, miracles do run in my family, just so, because, I am a relative of Moses. So they do run in my family. But, at the same point in time, like that is something that we strive to do. And if I can touch somebody and I can make somebody different, then I don't care what is going on. I will make sure that I do that one thing. That's what I'm going to do. Because at the end of the day, why else are we here? If you are a priest and I am a priest, then what are we supposed to be doing? Changing the lives of people that are around. We are the miracle makers. We are the ones who create the change. We are the ones who speak into somebody's life that creates a magical change, that they're not the same that they were whenever they walked into the damn room. That's what we do. And if you can't do that, then I tell you that there's a problem. If you can't make a change in the life of somebody, there is an issue. Because as a priest, that is our job.
Man, you're either going to get a podcast or we're going to have you on the air live. You need to preach this on the airwaves like that. I agree. I have nothing to add. I just agree.
But that's the thing. It's like, like you guys, over in California. I'm sure that you have people that come to you that are saying, "Hey, I've got such and such going on, and I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to change it. I don't know." You know what I mean? Like, that's what we deal with on a daily basis. I can tell you this: every fucking morning that I wake up, when I wake up, I have no less than 10 to 15 fucking messages on Facebook, and probably between 6 and 8 different texts every single day of someone that needs something to happen every day. Like that's
I feel
that's
you.
not like weekend. Like, that's my life,
Me too. It's the same thing.
But that's what I'm saying is that I know that. That's why I was saying that. You know what I'm talking about.
I've got everything integrated through my phone, so it's just all right there. It's like text, emails, Facebook pages. It's all coming through right there on my phone with morning coffee.
Exactly. And then you open up your phone, and there's all this stuff. This one has this thing. This one has this thing. This one has this thing. This one wants to book this. This one wants to do that. This one and this one, like that. But that is, whatever anybody else fucking says, I don't care. But that is a part of our job.
Yeah.
If you cannot facilitate a magical change in somebody's life, then you have absolutely no goddamn business being a priest. And you can fucking quote me on that.
You are quoted, sir.
Because that's what we do. That's why we are called to the positions that we are called to. And if you cannot fulfill that obligation, then you have no business being where you are. So if you're one of those people who likes to talk shit and do, Brandy, I'm sorry, one of my god kids just arrived. If you
Hoodoo Sen Moise,
yeah,
you have been one of the most entertaining guests we've had. We gotta end the show in a couple minutes here. I wanted to plug your book, Working Conjure, A Guide to Hoodoo.
That's correct.
It's on Barnes & Noble. I'm seeing it on Google Play, and it's coming out on Wiser, right? Next.
Yes, Wiser is the one that's publishing it. If you want to pre-order it, you can pre-order it on Amazon.com. Just type in Working Conjure, and it will come right up. You'll see the cover of the book, which is a crossroads with a serpent crossing over the crossroads.
Yeah,
you'll see that.
I like that cover. I was looking at that, and then so Hex Fest's coming up, and then the Mile High Conjure,
and then the Mile High Conjure Gala in September. That's coming up. So if you in the Denver area, or you want to go to the Denver area, come on. And I promise you won't leave the way you came.
Well, now that your schedule has changed, hopefully we'll be able to get you on the air more often. You've been a great guest.
You just let me know.
I will do that.
Yeah, if I'm in town, baby, guess what? I'm on. If I'm in town, I'm on. Let me know.
You got to be in town. You can do it from your smartphone. And normally, I'm doing the last probably 5 shows I did entirely on my smartphone from the Spreaker smartphone app. It was actually probably better audio quality than I'm going to get off this laptop right now. But I just couldn't figure out how to integrate Skype. But maybe next time I'll be able to have a guest on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to download that. Yeah, that'll be good for me.
It's handy.
I'd be learning new things because I didn't even know that there was an app for it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Well, and I think you need your own podcast. And as I recall, I think Spreaker has a trial package. Small package where you get 15 unlimited 15-minute broadcasts per day or something like that, just to test it out, see if you like it, that kind of thing. I think that's how we started. It was a gateway drug, and now we paid for the larger package. But I'm not getting paid by Spreaker. I just really I like how Spreaker's worked out for me and all my friends that have tried out Spreaker.
Right.
It's way better than Blog Talk, and we can use it on our smartphones and the chat room. Everything just works. It's been great. But maybe you need to check that out, and if you do check that out, definitely tag me on your first show so I can post that around too.
Of course.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, salam alaikum.
Malaikum salam.
Thank you for being on the show. It was definitely a pleasure.
Oh, it's a pleasure. The pleasure is all mine. I appreciate it so very much.
And we'll be seeing you close to this time next year, I believe.
Of course.
Hex Fest.
Yes, indeed.
All right. All right.
Yes.
All right. Have a good one. Bye. Well, I don't even know if I knew it exactly when I downloaded all those archives, but that was when we met him the first time, and we got to hear me try and learn how to say his name that I say really well right now, Moise.
Yes.
Even though I know his other name, I still like to call him Moise because it took me so long to learn that. So we are in the marathon of Moise. We got about an hour in this segment, and the next show is about 2 hours. So that was
an hour left in this segment.
In this segment,
I thought we already did a couple hours of it.
Yeah, we did. We get 3 hours. So there's an hour left in this segment. There's 2 hours left in the next broadcast, so the next segment will be split whenever we run out of broadcast time. But if you're listening to it in the archives, just keep scrolling. If you're listening to it live, you probably got to hit refresh on the page a couple times and wait for me to post the next episode. But here we go with the next portion of the episode.
Congrats on going to college. Now the fun begins with setting up your dorm. Make it yours. Bed Bath & Beyond makes it easy. Sign up now for our college savings pass. Get 20% off your entire purchase every time you shop through September 30th. Only at Bed Bath & Beyond.
With a chance, with a chance, with a chance, with a chance. When the crowd gets busted, when the floor gets dusty, when your blade gets busted, with a chance, with a chance. When your room smells funny, when a hex takes your money, what's gonna save you, honey? Just with a chance, with a chance. All you witches and all your old magicians, it's time to start listening to With a Chance, With a Chance. With a chance, with a chance, with a chance, with a chance. With a chance, with a chance, with a chance, with a chance. When the crowd gets busted, when the floor gets dusty, when your blade gets busted, with a chance, with a chance. When your room smells funny, when a hex takes your money, what's gonna save you, honey? Just with a chance, with a chance. All you witches and all your old magicians, it's time to start listening to With a Chance, With a Chance. With a chance, with a chance, with such a beautiful day. It's such a beautiful day in the neighborhood. The birds are chirping, lawnmower cutting, barbecue burning, dead animals. It's such a beautiful day. It's such a beautiful day. It's such a beautiful day in the neighborhood. The sun is shining, flowers are blossoming, snotty little kids waking up their parents. It's such a beautiful day. It's such a beautiful day. It's such a beautiful day in the neighborhood. The birds are chirping, lawnmowers cutting, barbecue burning, dead animals. It's such a beautiful day. It's such a beautiful day. It's such a bitchin' day. It's such a wonderful day. It's such a beautiful day. It's such a gorgeous day. It's such a happy day. It's such a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
I put a spell on you. Because you're mine. Stop the things you do. What's up? I ain't lying. I can't stand no running around. I can't stand no putting me down. I put a spell on you. Because you're mine. Oh, yeah. Stop the things you do. What's up? I ain't lying. Oh, oh, I love you. I love you. I love you anyhow. I don't care if you don't want me. I'm yours right now. I put a spell on you. Because you're mine.
madness that I encounter everywhere I turn. I've seen it all along. In books and magazines, like a twitch before dying, like a pornographic scene. There's a far behind the window. There's an ugly laughing man, like a hummingbird in silence, like the blood on my door. It's a generator. The blood on my door. Wash me clean and I will run until I reach the shore. I've known it all alone, like the bone under my skin, like actors in a photograph, like paper in the wind. There's a hammer by the window, there's a knife on the floor, like turbines in darkness, like the blood on my door. It's the generator. Like the blood on my door. Wash me clean and I will run until I reach the shore.
Radio for your spiritual side.
Shits. You gotta let me say my part.
A twisted approach to the left-hand path. I am Michael, sometimes known as Uncle Birch, and the emotional support clown to the left of me is
Marta.
And we're here with our special guest, who we got to get on here because we only got an hour with him, and then we'll probably rock out and talk about some other shit. But I just saw something about they're going to phase out the social distancing guidelines. The White House says they're going to phase out social distancing guidelines. So after we get done with Moise, we're going to have to look up that story and rant about it. But tonight, our special guest, our very good friend who we miss fucking dearly, Hoodoo Sen Moise, our friend and neighbor who we haven't seen in fucking a month or two or fuck.
Over a month.
God, we would see every fucking day. One of the few people we ever had to our goddamn house. And he owns a shop in New Orleans that was just supposed to move to Bourbon Street, which is now run by rats. The rats have taken over Bourbon Street.
The rodent
Yes, conjure New Orleans. We only got him for an hour, so let's get in here. And Hoodoo Sen Moise, how the fuck are you, brother?
Oh, I'm doing all right. How y'all doing? Y'all making it through all of this?
You know, we're hanging in there, I guess. You know, doing more cooking and stuff like that.
Well, you can see how we were doing every day. We do a show like 7 days a week.
Yeah, we were started doing a
out.
show called the Stay the Fuck at Home Show. And today, we folded our laundry. So that was like the big thing of the day.
And people tuned in for that. So they're really starved for entertainment out there, man.
But we miss you so much. How have you been?
I've been all right, you know, just doing, whatever, needs to be done and such. With all this, like, one of the things that I've done is, spent a lot of time with my spirits and like working lamps and stuff like that, to try to get like this shit like, done with, but also to make sure that, we all, remain successful in that, and that we all are pressing forward, even in, this seemingly like, I don't even know how to describe, time of like, foolishness or whatever the hell it is,
Yeah. How's Pickles?
Oh, Pickles is good. He's having a play date today with Stanley.
Oh, you know what? I saw that she didn't get a new dog, Fitzgerald?
She did. Well, his name isn't Fitzgerald anymore, but
what's his name now?
Today his name is Jeffrey, but who the hell? I don't know. I'm just like, okay, Tracy, just let me know what day, what the name of the dog is, and because like really I think that he looks like Gizmo, but that's just me.
Yeah.
He looks like Gizmo.
Yeah, he's really cute. We saw pictures of him.
For those of you who don't know her other dog, what's the first dog's name?
Stanley is what was the King of Barkus last year.
King of Barkus, very important parade for
last year.
So what do you I know you got your brick and mortar that was supposed to open on Bourbon Street, and I'm sure that's stalled right now. It's like, how are you? What are you doing online? Everybody's coming up with stuff to do online to make ends meet and pay the bills. What you got going?
Your website that you posted the other day.
And that's a website. Like, I've had that website for a while actually, but I never advertised it. But yeah, so like I've posted that. I've been doing some like classes like through Zoom and that sort of thing, and just even though like all this stuff is going on, doesn't mean that we can't still like connect to one another.
Right.
And one of the things that I think is important is that that we do actually connect with each other and stuff, because I mean let's just face it, like human beings are they're social animals.
Yeah.
So we need to be around in whatever way that we can. We need to be around other people.
Right.
And so like I've done that. I do have a series of classes that's coming up, and the details of that will be announced shortly. Basically, which is going to be, first of all, it's going to be like, what's the difference between hoodoo and voodoo? Number one, the differences between that, and then it's going to go into the voodoo side, and then like an introduction to who the Loa are, why the Loa are not the same as Orisha, and then so on and so forth, with that, and that's something that's going to be upcoming in the next week or so.
Okay, that actually is something that I would be really interested in taking. So definitely keep us posted.
Not to sidetrack, but tell me this: somebody in our chat room saying that your book came out on audiobook. I missed that.
It did. Well, here's the funny part about it, is that I didn't even know that it was going to be turned into an audiobook.
Oh, so they did it? Because I was about to give you a hard time for not asking me to narrate it, but okay.
Well, I did. All of a sudden, like one day, like I got a text message to say that your book is an audiobook, and I was like, okay, that's great. Let it be an audiobook as well. Because like in that book, like there's a lot of a lot of pearls of wisdom that's in there, because I've been doing this for 38 years. And so one of the things, and actually realistically, like the whole reason for me even writing that book, because as you two know, I hate writing. I hate it. I don't like it. But one of the main reasons for me, writing that book is because of a lot of what I have seen has been like literally nothing but foolishness. And what they're doing is that they're pulling from stories that basically have, number one, have no merit, but number two, is not the work that we did. And so, when they decided, when the publishers decided amongst themselves, which is, Wiser Red Wheel, which I will always tip my hat to, because, they did, in my opinion, a glorious thing. Because they've been after me about writing, a book on this topic for years. And so when they did that and turned it into an audiobook, I was like, well, that, in my opinion, makes things a lot more easily accessible for folks, because then they can just listen to the book as opposed to, having to sit down, and read it and such. And right.
Yeah, I love audiobooks. Yeah. So tell people, what's the book? Tell people about your book.
Well, the book is called Working Conjure, and basically what it is, it's about what hoodoo and conjure is, on a fundamental level. Because the thing is that if people don't understand what that is on the fundamental level, they're never going to get what it has the ability to turn into. And one of the things that I tell people, which, some folks might disagree with me, but that's okay. They've been wrong before. Might disagree with me on about is that conjure and hoodoo is not only a practice, but it is also a culture. And you cannot have one without the other. You must have both. That's there, because it is the culture of conjure that interprets the work of conjure, you see. It's both of those things that are together that create the balance that's needed, when it comes to what you're doing, the practice that's going on, why you're doing that, why that practice, is in place, so on and so forth. But, so for me, it's one of those things to where that's one of the foundation stones that I consider to be very, very important. It's not that did you have to grow up in this culture to understand it? Not necessarily, but you need to understand what the culture around that is, or that surrounds it, is, in order to be able to practice it and to do it effectively. And that could be said for almost any tradition. This isn't one of those things to where you talk about, oh, well, I'm going to do, this and that just because I feel like it. That ain't how this shit works. Let's be very, very clear. It's not about that, but it's about, understanding why it works, you see. And so, go ahead.
I was going to ask, where is it available in audiobook?
In audiobook, you can the primary place that it's available in audiobook is through Amazon.
Okay. I was just going to ask, do you see yourself ever in the future writing a book about voodoo?
Well, the thing is here, and I'll just tell you, there are a few books on the voodoo that that are very good that are there. Do I see myself writing a book about voodoo? I probably could, but the thing is that because the voodoo, not like conjure, is an initiatory tradition, because conjure is not initiatory, voodoo is. There's only so many things that I could say, about different aspects, and I could write a book, but it would be a very, very generalized book. Because when it comes to the voodoo, there are certain secrets that we have, and there are certain things that we do that are not open to the public, and they're not open to anybody who hasn't ever had their head made. And so, so that's where it becomes a bit of a challenge.
A couple weeks ago, we had TJ and Amanda on the show, and she told us that she's your goddaughter in voodoo. I had absolutely no idea. So you guys went to Haiti to do that?
Of course, Kanzos they happen in Haiti. The end.
Okay.
There is no Kanzo in the U.S. Kanzos happen in Haiti, and the reason for that is because there are certain things that.
Hey, Kev, the client needs that document ASAP.
I'm trying, but the internet is so slow.
With 99.9% network reliability from Cox Business, nothing can hold you back. Visit coxbusiness.com for details.
Congrats on going to college. Now the fun begins with setting up your dorm. Make it yours. Bed Bath & Beyond makes it easy. Sign up now for our college savings pass. Get 20% off your entire purchase every time you shop through September 30th. Only at Bed Bath & Beyond.
Must happen that are not here in the United States.
Okay.
And so when it comes to Haitian voodoo initiation, I will tell you this. When it comes to Haitian voodoo initiation, it has to happen in Haiti because there are certain things that are not here that without them you cannot complete the Kanzo.
It's funny because before we knew you personally, and we took hoodoo classes with Kat Ironwood. She was all up in this thing about how New Orleans voodoo is not real voodoo. And here's the voodoo guy that we know in New Orleans is you, and there you are going to Haiti. So I put a fucking dart in that shit.
Yeah. Are there people here that not that it's legit or anything, but do they have people here in New Orleans who will act like they can initiate people into voodoo?
There are.
Okay.
There are people that, but those people will be everywhere.
Right.
Because and I'm going to tell you, and as you know, I do not mince words. There's a sucker born every minute, and somebody's always going to say, "Oh, well, I got this and blah 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 blah." No, you didn't. Yeah. With that. But as far as the New Orleans and actually really the proper term for that would actually be plantation voodoo. There is a New Orleans or a plantation voodoo side that is here, but you're not going to find it like in the French Quarter. You're not going to find it, you're not going to find it in those places where everybody thinks. So look, you're going to have to go back to the plantation because most of the people who practice that or who have that tradition come from the plantation, and that's where they do their ceremonies, and that's where they do their initiations and such, into. Is it exactly like Haitian voodoo? No, it is not. But at the same point in time, there's a lot of similarities that's there, sure. But like in the French Quarter, and then Joe Schmo, who's from Washington fucking D.C., who's like, oh my God, I'm a voodoo practitioner or I'm a conjure man. Sit down, because no, you're not.
I often
like, here's the thing, is like, I've been doing this a very, very, very long time, and there are people who, come around, and all they're trying to do is they're trying to get one over on somebody. And like I said before, there's a sucker that's born every minute, and guess what? That sucker's going to end up paying the damn price for whatever the hell it is that's going on, because they don't have enough discernment to understand that what they're being fed is not exactly true.
So I don't know if I've asked you this question before, because I've asked you, I used to see you all the time, so I've asked you all the questions that I can think of. But I always ask people, if there's, what's the difference between conjure and hoodoo? And then I'm looking at your book right now, and you've got conjure, and then the next sentence is hoodoo. So are these interchangeable terms, or are there differences between conjure and hoodoo?
Conjure and hoodoo are basically, they have become synonymous terms. So when it gets right down to it, like back in the day, hoodoo could be used as a noun or a verb. A hoodoo was a person that would conjure you, or hoodoo would be referred to as work that was done on somebody. Much like where you would see, somebody threw roots at me. Or, somebody would say that somebody laid a trick on me, or like those terms have become synonymous. People like to get involved in semantics so much that they're trying to take, and they're trying to differentiate this, that, and the other, when actually, when you want to really boil it down to what is the truth is that all those terms have become synonymous to one another. The practice of hoodoo or conjure actually, comes from the Congo part of Africa. And it was brought over here during the slave trades, and it became a magical answer to an oppression that needed to be fought. That's what the basic, that's how you say, the moral of the story is that they're all synonymous together. But when you get right down to it, people like to try to separate things, and they try. And back during a time, sure, there may have been separate terms, because some people may have used conjure for the left hand side. Some people may have used hoodoo for the right hand side, or whatever. But basically, it all boils down to the same thing, because here's the thing. There's in conjure, there's no left-hand work and there's no right-hand work. It all boils down to the same, because it's all about balance. And in order to have balance, you must work with both hands.
They still use those terms in witchcraft and Wicca, and the ship sailed a long time ago. Those things that they called left hand and right hand, those joined forces a long time ago. It's like just a lot of ignorant people repeating shit that they've heard. I mean, ultimately, in witchcraft, the left-hand path believed that the God force dwelt within us, and the right-hand path believed that the God force dwelt without. And so the right-hand path would serve others, and the left-hand path would serve the self. Both of those things exist, and most witches you'll talk to in this day and age, they say that, the gods are outside us and they're inside us. So it's like, I don't even know why people even talk about the left-hand path and the right-hand path. You need both hands. And people recognize that a long fucking time ago, but people don't upgrade their fucking data, basically.
Yeah, well, and you're absolutely right, and that's the truth, and in that they are. What happens is that, people have, in general, people have an upbringing, and that upbringing brings certain things to them. And one of the things that it brings to them is that what they perceive to be as, good or evil or whatever. But those terms are extremely relative. they're very, very relative because, you know, what we consider to be good and, you know, quote, moral or whatever, like here where we are, if you go outside of the country, in other words, get out of your own backyard, you go somewhere else, like those things may not exist there. And that's very true. And so you have to understand that, like, what one person perceives as being good or moral may not be the same thing that another culture perceives as being the same thing.
Well, it's all very subjective. I've often said this. Like, Hitler believed he was right. Nobody sets out, you know, rarely does somebody set out to be evil and do evil. Everybody thinks they're fucking right, but they do fucking what, you know, others would call evil.
Our political parties, like each side thinks that they're right.
Trump thinks he's right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So for you personally, where does Paulo fit into, like, all these practices, the voodoo and the conjure? You kind of, I don't even know how to ask it. You kind of spend the same amount of time doing all the practices, or do you kind of favor one over the other?
No, I spend the same amount of time doing all of them. Paulo is also a cousin, you know, of the voodoo and a cousin of the conjure. It is like they're all cousins. It's basically like the way that I would describe it. It's like if you have a house, okay, you have a bedroom. And, like, let's say that one of your cousins has another bedroom and another one of your cousins has another bedroom. You're living in the same house, but you're not the same.
Right.
Like, there are similarities and such that's present and that's there, but you're not all the same. And basically what realistically has gone on is that, you know, like when the Middle Passage happened and when the slave trades went on, you know, what you had all of these cousins, so to speak, come together, and there's influences of each that, you know, that lie in each part of those traditions. You know, but I will tell you this, that, like, you know, like when it comes to conjure in and of itself, like conjure number 1 is not an initiatory path. Yeah. Conjure number 2 is not it is, conjure in and of itself is magic work. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. There's no worship. There's no none of that is there as well. Conjure is magic, whereas, like, you know, like Paulo and like the voodoo, like there is worship in that. Like, so like there, you know, that's more like of a spiritual path / religion that is there. That, you know, the conjure, the only thing that conjure requires is that there be a foundation of the ancestors. That is the foundation of everything in conjure. Voodoo, yes, there is a foundation of the ancestors there, but you also have God and the Loa. Right. Paulo, there is a foundation of the ancestors in there, but you have the Impungo and you have Nsambi. So guess what? Like, you know, so they're cousins that are there, but they don't exactly operate in the same way. And so they do have influence with one another, but that influence is not what, you know, immediately directs that. You know, and one of the things that, you know, that you know, that I will absolutely say, because I fucking can, one of the things that I will say is that you have a lot of people that are either into voodoo in Paulo, and you know, or you know, they proclaim that they're in the voodoo in Paulo or in conjure, who say all of this other shit, and the only reason why they're doing that is to get one over on someone else. Because guess what? You know, at the end of the day, when it gets down to it, not most, but well, actually, I know it could be. I don't know, but a lot of people, the only color that they're looking for is green.
Right,
As opposed to leading somebody the right way or whatever. And I'm going to tell you a story. Yep. Yep, it's going to be story time.
All right.
So this was about 2 years ago. Somebody sent me an email. I got an email from this guy who is in Baton Rouge over here. And he said, hey, he was like, I need some help. Can you help me? And I said, okay, well, what's the condition? What's going on? You see. And he told me that he had gone to somebody. He had gone to somebody because he needed cleansing. He needed cleansing work done. And it was somebody in New Orleans. Well, who lives in New Orleans, I should say. Somebody who lives in New Orleans who needed cleansing work done. And the person told him, yeah, I can do cleansing work on you. And it would be, I think he charged him like $800 or some dumb shit like that. And he drove down here from Baton Rouge, and the person took him into a graveyard and did a quote-unquote cleansing on him in the graveyard to do cleansing work on him. A week later, he got into a wreck. The week after that, he lost his job. The week after that, he was like engaged to be married, and his fiance left him. And the week after that, he got arrested and went to jail. And he said,
Congrats on going to college. Now the fun begins with setting up your dorm. Make it yours. Bed Bath & Beyond makes it easy. Sign up now for our college savings pass. Get 20% off your entire purchase every time you shop through September 30th. Only at Bed Bath & Beyond.
Every day, big decisions are made without full information. Better decisions are made without the noise. With clarity and confidence. Aon is in the business of better decisions.
Well, my first question is, why the fuck would you ever do a cleansing in a graveyard, you dumb fuck? That means that I'm like, you're new. You don't know shit. But that's, yeah, because it seems spooky. Exactly. But all it goes to show is that there's a lack of wisdom that's there, and a lack of understanding of how things actually work. And that individual just took this person, basically for their money. And so I told him, I said, come to me. And he drove down from back, and I said, come to me. And I did a proper cleansing on him to stop all this fucking shit from going on. And then it was done, and he's fine. Now he's fine.
I often say, sometimes, in magic, quite often it gets worse before it gets better, but not that much worse. Yeah. that's like worse. I don't even know what the original problem was, but that sounds like way fucking too worse.
Well, the original problem was his luck was upside down. And so what was going on is that everything he was trying to do was basically backfiring, and all the things that he was wanting to happen, it was the opposite that was actually taking place. And that was the original issue. And so And then when whenever you come to some, fucking dumb shit, that's in New Orleans saying, oh my God, I'm like a conjure person, blah, 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 or I'm a voodoo person, blah, 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 blah. And then guess what? And what they produce is bullshit. That's the thing. And people don't understand, like I don't know about y'all or nobody, but like when it comes to the work that I do and the oaths that I have taken, I take them extremely fucking seriously. And a lot of people do, like they don't, because the only thing that they're looking at, the only color of discrimination is green.
When I first took my oaths, when I first took my oaths, nobody was making money on any of this shit. So I was far from what I was fucking thinking. Years later, I look back and it's like, oh, hey, I guess being a witch is your fucking career. I didn't see that coming, and that sure in the hell wasn't the plan.
Right. Well, exactly. And that's the thing. It's like, here's the deal. If you're going to be somebody who's like giving services to people, please, for the love of all that is fucking holy, get some wisdom before you fucking do it. Like, don't be like doing because that's just that is dumb shit. Why would you ever do a cleansing in a graveyard? You don't. Do you know why you don't do that? Do you know why you don't do that? Because the graveyard is one of the most volatile places on this earth. Because what you're dealing with is there's some good there, but there's also a lot of malevolent there. And if there is 1 inch of a crack that they can see in, they will attach themselves to you, and guess what happens after that? But people, what they do is that they try to struggle to hope. And then you have some people that that speak with a silver tongue and tell them, oh, blah, 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 and I can do this and this and this and this and this. And then guess what? You're the one who gets fucked in the end, and they're over there counting their money on the way to the bank.
I was actually going to ask you, are you finding nowadays, like with everything that's going on and, people losing their jobs and not working, are you seeing an increase in people who seek your services out for finances or even relationships? Have you seen any increase in that?
At the moment, I will tell you this, there's a lot of people who inquire about that, but it's not very many who follow through with actually wanting that work done. And the reason for that, I believe, actually is has a lot to do with because of the uncertainty of things that's going on. Everybody's trying to hold on to their money because they don't know what's happening and what's this or that. So when it comes to spending because they're of things that are not of absolute necessity at the time, it's one of those things to where you're like, it's not, like I said, it's almost like they're unsure with that, because they're like, well, I could spend my money on this, or I could spend my money on the next meal because I don't know if I'm going to have a paycheck or whatever.
What about relationship issues? Because we've been hearing about a lot of people who are really having a hard time being cooped up together in their relationship, and we've had our issues too. So have you been hearing more about that from people?
I have actually. There's been quite a few relationship issues that come up in, and for me, I'm not the person that's going to be like, oh my God, well, you need this work or this work or this work, because I'm not gonna string somebody along and be like, and just try to make $1 off of them. I'm not gonna do that. Yeah. But I would like, it's not necessarily that, but what it is that, like, you've been like together, for all of this time, and so like that's kind of like making you a little bit tired, because you have to remember that one of the things, one of the concerns that really goes on, like like with this quarantine bullshit and all this other stuff that's happening, is like people's like mental health really become challenged, in that, because they're not. It's outside of what they're used to dealing with. It's outside of what their normal is,
Right, and especially for us, or anybody who has kids. You're now also needing to be a teacher. I mean, our kids still, it's somewhat structured, but he only has an hour of Zoom classes a day, and then the rest of the time is up to us to, keep him occupied.
That's what we paid all that money for, to the private school.
Yeah, dude, like help him with his math, and like a lot more work that's in addition to everything else that's going on. I feel like that's happening a lot.
Yeah. Everybody I know that has a relationship. And we're about out of time on this part 1 broadcast. So either if you're listening to the archives, scroll on down for the next one. If you're listening to it live, give me a couple minutes and refresh the page, and we'll continue Witter Shins. The marathon of Moise continues.